Alright guys, this is going to be a different video from what I normally post. Everyone's always known that there's some shit that's been wrong with DeFly from the start, and I want to go over that in this vid. There's currently no way of advertising DeFly, and the entire elite system is filled with problems. And then there's the entire bullshit bans process too. First, there's advertising. Right now, there are barely any new players coming in. Like 95% of the current player base is in the later half of high school. And there are some players that are already in college, like me, Grim, BT, DF, and Clutch, to name a few. And that number is only going to go up. And in like 2 to 3 years, every one of that 95% is going to be graduated from high school and will have moved on with their life. And Serial isn't going to be making any money either. Everyone that still stuck around either bought VIP years ago or has just gotten by with an ad blocker the entire time. So Serial barely makes anything from running this, and he might just end up shutting DFly down for good and continue working on his rip-off version of Fall Guys. It's also clear to everyone that Serial doesn't give a flying shit about this game. The last update we actually had was the 1v1 mode 3 years ago. Everyone said for a while that Serial should just hand over DFly to Mort or someone else who actually cares enough to update it. You could also pay to have DFly up on sites that have a bunch of browser games, like crazy games as well. It would help bring more new players in and revive the old population a little bit. The next thing I mainly want to yap about is elites. It's pretty much no secret to everyone that the current elite system is pretty fucked. Like, first of all, we have the TOs, who everyone knows is in charge of running elites, but yet they're also allowed to play on elites and even be captain of their own elite team. Like, bruh, if you're running a competition, but you also have the people that are running that competition also playing in said competition and having a personal stake in said competition, anyone with more than two brain cells can figure out that some shit's gonna happen sooner or later. It's like having Brock Purdy and Patrick Mahomes being part of the Super Bowl officiating crew last year. Like, come on. And there has been some shit that's already gone down in elites too, like the whole season 5 org catastrophe, and then most recently here getting exposed for and admitting to beaming info to Sky in real time to give them an edge over all the other teams. I've also always thought that the current elite format is pretty fucked too, like with the whole giant free for all system and everything. If you take pretty much every major sport, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, or whatever, or even major esports like Valorant, CSGO, they're all played where two teams faced off against each other. One team versus another team. No fucking giant free for all system that we have right now. And I think it's better that way too. The current system that we have only encourages teams to just make alliances with each other and then all gang up on the team that's ahead of everyone at the end of the season. If you're the best team, you sure as hell deserve to win. But with the way that the current system is, it's pretty much guaranteed to never happen. Like, either a single or double round robin system would be the best in my opinion. Like, everyone playing against everyone either once or twice, and then at the end, maybe like a 2 or 4 team playoff bracket, depending on how many teams we actually have. And I think that would be better for pretty much everyone. And then whichever team is actually the best would come out on top, which is how it should be. There's also the whole bullshit ban system too that makes no fucking sense at all. Like, when a player is banned, the mods in Serial just tell them that they're just banned indefinitely. They can appeal all they want, but the hard truth is they have no idea if they're ever going to get unbanned at all. Their only hope of getting unbanned is just getting on their knees and crying their dick off to the mods as long as they can. And so maybe one day they'll eventually get unbanned, but they have no way of knowing if that's ever going to actually happen or not. In pretty much every major sport, when a player does some shit, they don't get banned indefinitely like that. I mean, there are some rare cases where a player actually did get banned for life from a sport, like the whole Jonte Porter gambling thing. But the vast majority of the time, like when two players get into a fight or someone does something brain dead off the field, they just get suspended for a given amount of time, like either 1 or 2 games or maybe a little bit more depending on what they did and how severe it was. And elites really need to have a system of suspensions like that instead of the way the current bullshit bans process is. It's pretty much the whole reason why band players also either just quit the game entirely because they can't be fucked to just sit around and wait to get unbanned, or they just make an alt. If there's no given time to a banned player when they can be unbanned and no information is given to them of what they can possibly do to get unbanned, they're naturally just going to be inclined to just make an alt and get around the ban. Like, why go and cry your dick off to the mods for who knows how long? You could just make an alt, pretend like your old life just never existed. And there's no real reason to blame banned players for alting like that either. Because if you're just banned and never told if you're going to get unbanned or not, the logical thing to do is just make an alt and get by on it. Because you still want to actually play the damn game in the first place.